I don't read this part, do I?
No, I would.
Just there? Yeah,
But this is one of them. But you can read off.
oh, okay,
Read off.
that's the motion there, yeah, okay.
Read off.
At least I can see the print.
Okay, good evening, members of council, members of our management team. We also have a couple of guests in our lobby, Brian and Laura. Thanks for being here. We do have 12 attendees that have logged on. We do apologize. We were having a little technical problem with going live. So welcome to the Stephenville Town Council meeting, March 6th. It is a balmy. Anybody know what temperature it is outside? 5-6 degrees. I'll take that for March the 6th. Call to order. Would ask a member of council, Councilor Myra White, motion, second by Councilor Maurice Hines. All in favor? Aye. Carried. Okay, number 2 is our land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the town of Stephenville as the ancestral homeland of different populations of Indigenous people. We also acknowledge with respect the rich histories and cultures of the Beothuk, the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Item number 3, as circulated by our town clerk, also on electronic media. I would ask a member of council to approve the agenda as circulated.
Move.
Moved by Councilor Darren Roberts, second. Second, Councilor Tom O'Brien, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item number 4, approval of minutes. We have 2 items. Item number 1, be it resolved that the minutes of February 20th, 2025 public meeting of council be approved as presented. They were circulated by our town clerk for errors or omissions. I would ask a member of council that we approve those minutes.
Move.
Moved by Councilor Darren Roberts, second Councilor Myra White, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Carried. Item number 2, be it resolved that the minutes of February 20th, 2025 privileged meeting minutes to review disclosure statements be approved. Ask for a motion of council. Motion by Councilor Maurice Hines, second by Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow. All in favor?
aye,
Not too bad. All good. Carried. Any matters arising from the minutes of the 2 meetings, the privilege and the last public meeting?
Mr. Mayor, for number 2, we should explain to the public exactly what the meeting was for. Here it says to review disclosure statements be approved. That's done by, as per legislation, each member of council, not only Stephenville, but through the province, has to fill out forms, basically disclosure statements. I mean, declaring what property you may own in town, what business you may own, or what business you may own. And then council members get to review all of council members' statements of disclosure. That way, hopefully we won't get any of us will get ourselves caught up in conflict of interest at the table. So I mean, conflict of interest is the big issue that we need to be very conscious of. And this statement and legislation helps to avoid that as much as humanly possible, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was the only item on that.
And I guess further to that, and maybe I'll ask management, should a councillor purchase a new business sometime in that fiscal year, we only do this annually, would that something would have to be advised to? Yes, okay, so
They should in case, if it is potentially conflicting.
Yeah.
And almost any business in the town has a potential conflict that
Yeah.
everybody in the town council should.
okay. Okay, thanks for that, Councillor O'Brien. Proclamations and delegations, we have one that's coming up for March the 8th. It's International Women's Day.
tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow.
Seven.
Tomorrow,
Or is it the 8th? Okay,
March the 8th, yeah.
so I just like to go through this. International Women's Day, March 8, 2025. It's a global day to recognize and celebrate women's social, economic, cultural, and political achievements, and there are many. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating women's equality. And while I say that, still in a country as advanced as we are as a G7 nation, there are still elements in this country, in government structures, where women are still not paid in parity with men. And there's been federal policy that have come down where they've been doing some adjustments, but there's been disparity that existed. And bringing a call and a proclamation to the attention of this is very, very important to ensure we have equality. Okay, item number 7, I'm going to turn it to our Chair of Finance, Councilor Margaret White, 7.1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 1, the accounts payable. Be it resolved to approve accounts payable for March the 6th, 2025 in the amount of $58,743.62. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Margaret White, second. Second, Councilor Dan Roberts. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 2 is the expense checks. Be it resolved to pay expense checks for the month of February 2025 totaling $251,309.57. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Margaret White, second by Councilor Laura Aylward. All in favor?
Aye.
Just want to say, when you have a $11 million budget,
Mm.
and we do payroll mostly every 2 weeks, it's required. Pardon?
Primarily weekly,
Primarily
now.
weekly,
the exception of, our departments.
every 2 weeks, okay? But it's a lot of the expenditures that happen, and most of it is local, and a lot of jobs and a lot of goods and services. Okay,
Item number 3, property tax. Be it resolved to approve property tax write-offs in the amount of $6,240.00. I so move.
moved by Councilor Myra White, second, Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 4, water and sewer. Be it resolved to approve water and sewer tax adjustments in the amount of $384.00. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second,
Second.
Councilor Darren Roberts, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 5 is a remission of tax. Be it resolved to approve remission of tax in the amount of $230.72. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second by Councilor Laura Aylward, all in favor?
Aye. Item number 6, business tax. Be it resolved to approve business tax adjustments in the amount of $2,945.20. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second, Councilor Darren Roberts, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. I just want to say to, most of these, expense write-offs come from our tax department, but it's vetted to our town clerk for a second set of eyes for validation. So it's as active as we can get it on the books.
And another point to note for the benefit of the public is that some of these items remain confidential if they're of a personal, financial nature to the individuals. However, all of our, financial, like the checks, expenses, stuff like that, are all available for public review. If someone wants to come in and request something specific, they can do that, right? So these are open and public pieces of information. We don't publicize the information of a personal nature just for the sake of confidentiality. But any expenses on things that the town purchases are all available for public review should it be requested.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Item number 7 is a request for donation. Be it resolved to donate $500 to the 28th annual telethon for Bay St. George Sick Children's Foundation. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second by Councilor Maurice Hunt. Just want to say too, Darren Roberts, I know at our finance meeting, you mentioned that you were involved when they structured and set up 20 years ago.
Yep. I gave him the correct advice.
You know, for 28 years, the volunteers, the sponsors have been helping families. And it's a time when families really need help.
Is it 28 years, Darren? Wow.
Well, one of the things about it is the last couple of
say.
years, as a member of Knights of Columbus, a lot of the charitable and nonprofit organizations, the volunteers get together to man the radios and so on. And it's one of those warm and fuzzy feelings that you get for helping.
And I gotta say, I have no doubt he'll be there again. Former Councillor Doc Gibbons
Yes.
has been there, I'm sure, for 28 years, and poor Mike Tobin, who passed away a couple of years back. They were just structures that were always there, you know, and supporting the basic
Yeah,
dose of children. So good stuff. All in favor?
Aye.
Carry.
Item number 8 is a request for sponsorship. Be it resolved to purchase a quarter-page advertisement in the 25th anniversary edition of the Veterans Service Recognition Book in the amount of $385. I so move.
By Councilor Myra White, second. Second, Councilor Laura Elwood. Just want to say it's probably a fitting time to be talking about veterans, as there's so much unrest in the world today. And there's some indications now that enrollment is starting to move up in the Canadian military in all divisions of Army, Air Force, and Navy. So on the land, in the air, and on the water. And Maurice, with our background, we might have to, we got to step in like.
Yeah, they probably got a senior section there somewhere.
Yeah.
This recognition book has pictures in it, a little bit of story of veterans all the way from the First World War up to current serving members. And this is the one thing that the provincial command for the Royal Canadian Legion puts off a year, the one major fund.
I gotta say, I had mentioned for anybody listening, and especially if you're a veteran or interested in supporting veterans, but the story of Freddie Frida by Earl. World War I. He was a young Innu boy in Opium. And the missions up were the Moravian missions. They were run by Germans. When World War I started, his family knew the German family really well. And Dr. Grenfell was recruiting people to go fight for Canada. And they signed up Freddie Frida for one big reason. He was fluent in German. So for intelligence and counter-espionage. And he went over there, and there was 5 of them in a team. They got captured, and 3 of them lost their lives in interrogation. I don't need to go any further than that. But it so happened that the German officer was involved with the interrogation, recognized Freddie Frida because he was the little boy in Hopedale.
Oh, yeah.
But Freddie Frida didn't recognize him. And he actually sent him to Austria to work on a farm rather than the other outcome.
Yeah, very interesting.
Here's where it gets interesting. Mr. Peter Benoit from Port was the last person in the room, and the outcome wasn't looking good. He escaped through a window. He jumped 10 to 15 feet into a snowbank. He escaped. He joined the Newfoundland Regiment in Beaumont and Hamilton. He got wounded, and he died 2 weeks later. Anyways, very interesting book and part of our history. And that was 110, 15 years ago. Amazing. Anyways, a bit of history there. I'm a bit of a history buff. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Never noticed before.
Okay, Councilor White.
Item number 9, a request for proposal 2025-001.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Got caught up in my history. All in favor for the
Aye.
recognition?
Aye.
Carry.
Request for proposal 2025-001 for child care feasibility study. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville award the request for proposal 2025-001 for the child care feasibility study on constructing and operating a net zero child care facility to Agatuna Drafting and Consulting, ADC Engineering, in the amount of $87,402.65, HST included. The study will proceed only if funding is secured for the project. So moved.
Moved by Council Myra White, second. Second Deputy Mayor Susan Fallow.
I think that last statement there is what's important for people to listen.
Yes.
The study will proceed only if funding is secured.
So I just want to say our management team have done enormous amount of work. I know just the other day, Mike had meetings with officials out of St. John's. They've had officials with ACOA for funding of this. We're behind. I think we need about 150 placements of people looking for childcare. So it is a high priority of the town. I'm sure Matt and planning and the rest of the team will work with the consultant if money is received and it gets awarded in a tender. But we need to find a suitable location. That'll be part of the study of the consultancy on it. So great work on behalf of our management. These files are never easy and it takes a lot of tenuous work. So thanks again. All in favor?
Aye.
Karen.
That was the last item on the committee for the finance.
It's
Couple items being worked on, but they are not ready for
okay.
council yet.
Okay, Councilor Lori Elward. Thank you very much, Councilor White. Councilor Elward is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah. Disposition of property on motion number 23-323, the town of Stephenville provided public notice of its intent to transfer 5 parcels of land pursuant to the Municipalities Act 1999, section 2013, subsection 3. Under the provision of the new act, the disposition of property will be advertised. So the motion is to pursuant to Towns and Local Service District Act, section 191, be it resolved that the town of Stephenville intends to dispose 5 parcels of land, area number 37A, 40 Connecticut Drive, area number 37B, 40A of land. Where am I? Lost my Connecticut, 40 Connecticut Drive, area number 37B, 40A Connecticut Drive, and 40B Connecticut Drive. Yeah, I'm repeating myself over and over. 26 Connecticut Drive bypass and 20 Connecticut Drive bypass to MOWI Maui, Canada East Incorporated, whom will be responsible for all related costs. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Lori Elward, second. Second, Councilor Morris. Do you want to just maybe just?
Yeah, an explanation is in order. So given a bit of a history lesson, and it might be relevant for Councilor O'Brien also to comment on this afterwards, but there was a matter which was subject to ministerial approval. The minister was considering it in December and then said, well, Municipal Affairs called and said, if you don't do it before the Christmas break, there'll be a new act. So it may be moot to do it. And then the new act comes in. So they said, why don't you do it under the new act? Under the new act, the ministerial approval is no longer required. And it was not opposed, but it was just a matter under the new act. The town can do this itself. We advertise it. And as long as we follow the requirements of the act, then these items such as this, which is to do with Maui Canada East, the fish hatchery that they're operating in the the harbor area and a very important contributor to the town's workforce, as well as contributor to town from a property tax standpoint. And all of the lands, with the exception of these parcels, had been transferred in the past. It's just this one was lagging for some reason. Exactly why this one part was lagging, I really do not know the history of it that well, but this was an initiative undertaken by a prior council in making sure that the land was made available for the prior company to Maui Canada East. And subsequently, this final transaction is a required piece to finalize all of the lands that they are using for this purpose. So, and I know Councillor Ryan, you had some involvement in it at the time. You noticed, you mentioned some of the history of the land transfer.
Everything you just said is completely accurate, and you've done a good job of explaining it so that the people understand why we're doing this now. This is basically a catch-up game to what actually has transpired in the past. So it's,
And you know, Maui is scaling up to be $100 million facility. And as our CAO mentioned, a very big piece of our economy. No doubt, depending on where their product is heading, they may be finding new markets, just like the rest of the companies in Canada, in the event that some of their product is heading US from the stateside.
And they are one of the two largest fish hatchery companies in the world.
Yeah. I think on a scale, whether they're still in that standing, 1 in 5 salmon in the world eaten comes from this company. And there's salmon eaten on 7 continents. That's including Antarctica.
1 in 5.
So one other piece of this is within the boundaries of all of the other lands. So it's a piece that could not be used for anything else, and it is, there may even already be some activities ongoing on it under the original lease that was done, but this transfer is a necessary part of going forward now.
Okay, great explanation. Thank you, Councillor O'Brien and Deputy Mayor CAO Bill Ramsey. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, nothing late for planning? Okay, nothing for bylaws, regulations, or policies today. Any unfinished business? Okay, any new business?
Any new business?
I just wanted to speak on one thing here, as a municipality, and I guess I'd like to bring it up as a consideration for management to do some work on our procurement side. So, like you all know, the tariff war, buy Canadian, buy local, is a big campaign that's happening in Canada. We've always pushed buying local, because local business people challenged against the Amazon world and so forth, keep their business running has always been a case, but we buy a lot of goods and services on an $11 million budget. It's a little bit of work, but I'd really like for our management staff, all department heads, to consider sitting down at one of their weekly meetings and discussing where their procurement is coming from,